have this knot in my stomach that it's back to work, back to the grind, got to get these people in, stress of jobs, next job, what's happening. I have emails I didn't get to because I was away for a week. I didn't put up an out of office email. So am I losing jobs? Am I losing leads? Have I gotten back to people who want consultations? So anxious feelings and thoughts that you have while you're away or before or coming home. What is up, everyone? It's Tuesday after Labor Day. I know I'm a week behind, you guys. Well, actually, probably not a week behind. You'll be getting this podcast sooner than later. I just got back from vacation. I think we are. You can't tell as much anymore, but we took the girls up to Cape Cod last week. I tried to show you. I had this really sick tan line. I was out. We went on a whale watch, which Rachel has been asking me to do for, I think, let's see, probably we met when I was 21. I'm 37 now. So 16 years that we've been going up there together. She's been asking me to go on a whale watch, and I've never appeased her. I've never obliged her. Excuse me. And I did this year. She loved it. Shit, it was the best day of her life. Girls loved it, but I didn't put on sunscreen, and I had a sick hat tan line just straight across with like the little opening there because my hat was on backwards. So I was away last week. Rachel was away. Girls, we all went away. I was supposed to race on Sunday and then head on vacation. After that, we had booked our rental for Sunday night. I got hung up on the job Friday. Ended up having to go out there Saturday. Didn't have time to get my bike ready. Was super stressed out with work, the job, going away. So I decided to bag racing. Got home later on Saturday, packed up, and then we just hit the road Sunday morning. And I was feeling guilty about racing before that and losing a day of family vacation. I can race whenever. I only have so many days that I can take away from New Jersey, take vacation with the girls as they grow older. So I decided to do that. I have no regrets. I would have loved to race, but for me, family was the priority rather than my needs with how I was feeling, how stressed out I was, and not being able to get my bike ready. It had disaster written all over it. So we took off Sunday morning. We stayed in Orleans on the Cape. Rachel and I have been going up, like I said, I guess 15 years at this point, 16 years. I always went up as a kid with my family. My dad actually had a small little house in Wellfleet when we were younger. My parents got divorced when I was 16, and my dad unloaded that house during the divorce. I can't believe he did that. So we just ended up renting a little place. My buddy Sean lives in Brewster, so we spent some time with him and his family. He has 2 girls now, so that was exciting. Always good to see him. I see him once a year. His girls are so cute. His baby Maeve's like not quite 2 yet, and it just like reminds me of my little blonde girls when they were not quite 2, and they were so cute. And Selby just turned on September 4th 10, and she's starting 5th grade. By the time you hear this, she'll probably be in 5th grade. So it was a nostalgic trip, and then getting home and her turning 10. Rachel and I are both struggling with how do we have a kid in double digits, but we do. And Tilly turned 7 this summer. So we took the week. We went up to the Cape. We rented a little place in Orleans. It was nice. We just laid low. We stayed very busy. We have a bunch of spots that we normally like to go, from Brewster, Dennis, out through P-Town. We did the whale watch this year, which was cool. Let's see, what else do we do? Oh, we took the girls to, they've had this ever since I was a kid too. They have a drive-in movie theater. And we had never taken the girls there. I'd gone when I was little. So we took the girls. The Barbie movie was playing. Tilly had already seen Barbie movie, so it was her second time. Rachel and I. And Selby had not. Selby was at camp when Tilly saw it. So we saw the Barbie movie, which was pretty good. Some adult humor in there. Not I mean, I'm just not a huge movie guy. It was fine. If I'm not gonna, like, recommend you go see the Barbie movie, but if you're an adult and you have a young, daughter or son who wants to go see the Barbie movie, you'll enjoy it. It's not terrible. Other, kids' movies that you watch a million times over are far worse. It was well produced, well done, had some decent sentiment to it. I enjoyed it, but it was cool. The drive-in's super old. I think from the 50s. It started around the 50, or maybe it was last updated. I don't know. No, take that back. Um, I know that a lot of the equipment was put in the 50s, and it's still operational. So take that for what it's worth. But it's cool. Drive in, buy tickets early, drive in, pick your spot. We brought some blankets, snacks, pillows. We sat in the back and then hit up the snack stand. Everyone gets there early so that you're not driving and trying to find a parking spot in the dark. But they have the old speakers that you hang on the windows, and you can adjust the volume. And then even the previews, there's not a ton of movie previews. So they play the old school videos that they would from the 50s and the 60s, which was really cool. Even the snack stand, all that's very old. The playground equipment is the same as when I was a kid. I took some pictures of it. There's an old little kid slide that's all metal that they have painted like an elephant. The painting's been updated, but it's the slide from when I was little. It's just on this like massive concrete footing. Um, and then maybe the swings are new. Since I was there, since I was a kid, I don't think they're brand new. And then they have one of those. You guys are can't see me. Well, if you're on YouTube, you can see me, but they have one of those circular playground things that you would run on the outside. Like people would sit on it and then you would run and push the handles on the outside as fast as you can around and around and then jump on it and try and hold on. Or you could have one person sit off it and everyone would sit on it and you would just keep smacking it and pushing it faster and faster and it just spins around and around. But it's one of the old ones. So it has really good bearings. Um, it's all steel. They have it painted and then it just has like the steel handles and they have just playground mulch in there. But my kids are 10 and 7. They've only ever seen the big bulky plastic ones that spin so slow and you basically can't fall off of them. And if you do, you're not going to die. Um, so they've been missing out, but I was like, yo, this thing's so sick. I remember just hucking it around the outside of this thing and then jumping on, and the centrifugal force would spin you so hard that you almost couldn't hold on. If you sat in the direct middle, you didn't have that force on you, but you got so dizzy. So I was showing my kids that, and Selby and Tilly were on it, and I was just spinning them faster and faster, and Tilly lost her grip and flew off it like 4 feet. And these other kids were watching us, so they came up a little bit younger than our kids, and they were like, "Can I go on?" And I said, "Sure, but I'm not going to push you because you're not my kids. I'm okay if I hurt my kids. Like, I can handle that, but I'm not going to hurt somebody else's kids." They were like, "No, we do this all the time." And I was like, "All right, done, deal, good, hop on." I probably should have screened them a little bit more than that, but I took their word for it. I started them at like half the speed of my kids. And after a few spins, the kid flies off, hits the ground, tries to stand up, stumbles like he's drunk, and then falls like 6 inches from the edge of this metal thing. And I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm not pushing you guys anymore. You guys can push, but I'm going to hurt somebody's kid. And then I was thinking, this is why they make these out of plastic now. So when kids are dizzy, first off, they don't spin as fast. There's no handles to grab. Um, Second, when kids fall off it, they don't smack into a metal edge and crack their skull open. But that's also why these playgrounds aren't as fun as they used to be anymore. I've played on many new playgrounds and they're all right, but these old ones, they just hold up. They're fun, they're dangerous, and that's the way it used to be. Um, what else do we do? We took the kids whale watching first time. Like I said, they're really cool. They told us that we saw between 12 and 18 separate humpback whales, many more actual sightings, but that's roughly how many whales were in these few pods that we saw, but it was pretty crazy. They would come up, they would park the boats, and these whales were feeding, and they would be like, at one point, one was so close that when it blew the air out of its blowhole, hopefully these are all the correct terms, it sprayed Rachel and Tilly. But they were, if we were standing on the edge of the boat, they're probably 10 feet from the boat. They would come up. That was the closest. And then, anywhere from, they could be 100 yards off the boat. But they would basically park really close to them, and then they would feed and then come up, grab some air, and then head back down. But that was really actually very cool. Rachel and the girls loved it. I had a good time. Just super interesting. Those things are huge, and you don't realize it until you get that close to them. Even the babies, the calves, are massive. So that was a really cool experience. I had never done before. I never did that as a kid either. And there's been so many whales. They guarantee that you're going to see whales. If you don't see whales, they don't reimburse you, but they give you a ticket to go and to get on another boat, not that day, but for a future ticket, which is cool. We hung out with my buddy Sean towards the end of the week. He was born and raised in Truro, went to high school in Provincetown, took his business in Massachusetts, Providence a bit, and then slowed down. He works by himself with a helper, and does smaller projects just on the Cape now. Kind of unloaded the overhead of a bigger framing company, and works by himself. But him and his wife have a 4-year-old and a not quite 2-year-old. So we spent the day with them at the beach, which was really a lot of fun. My girls had a ton of fun with them. We went bowling. So they have bowling up on the Cape, which is another thing I just never did as a kid, but it's been there forever. It's called candlestick bowling. Let me see if I can pull something up with it right now. You have really small bowling balls, and the pins are, they're not shaped like a traditional, what are they called, like duck pin bowling balls? I don't know. So it's candle pin bowling. And it says, let's see, it's a variation of bowling that's played primarily in the Canadian Maritime provinces and the New England region of the United States. It's played with handheld size balls, tall, narrow pins that resemble handles. Each player uses 3 candlepin balls per frame rather than 2. The balls are much smaller, 4.5 inches, and weigh about 2 pounds, 7 ounces at the most. They're about identical to the weight of the pin, as opposed to 10 pins in 10 pins, where the ball can weigh more than 4 times as much as the pin. There's no oil applied to the lane, so the ball doesn't skid, but it rolls all the way down the lane. You know what? Now that they say that, that does make sense, because when you bowl a normal bowling ball, it does like almost backspin and then skid and then start spinning. And on this, the ball just rolls from the get-go. So the pins are spaced further apart, and they're heavier than the ball. Let's see. And then let's see here. The fallen pins, the wood is not cleared away between rolls during a frame. So as long as the entire pin stays behind the dead wood line, which is 24 inches in front of the head pin spot, wood in the gutters is dead wood, which means that if the ball makes its first contact with it, the pins felled do not count, nor are they respotted. I don't think we played by those rules, but that's interesting. Yes, you bowl and the pins just stay there until you get your 3 balls, and then you press a button and it actually reloads it. It was fun. The girls love it. It's actually way more manageable. Okay, here, candle pin, duck pin, and 10 pin bowling balls. So the 10 pin are the biggest, what you would think of as normal bowling balls. So you put your finger inside of it, a normal size pin, and then duck pin and candle pin, roughly the same size balls. I think candle pin is a little smaller, but that has the tall, skinny pins. And then duck pin looks like a 10 pin, just shrunk down some. But it was fun for the girls because it's just a tiny little ball they can throw out one-handed. put up the bumpers. But that's something that we never did as a kid, and we've been doing it yearly up there. It's super fun. They love it. I didn't even put on shoes this year because everyone was old enough to do it by themselves. And Sean and Kendra have younger kids than me, so they had the shoes on and were taking care of their kids. So I just got to sit there and eat barbecue food because they have a barbecue restaurant attached to the bowling alley. And then after that, we went to a disco dance competition in Orleans. Sean had a buddy who was actually judging the competition. So we went down there, and the girls got on a little disco dance stage right downtown, and were dancing their pants off last night of vacation. They did not win the competition. They thought that they should have, but they didn't. What else did we do? We rode a lot of bikes. We bring our bikes up there, ride on the rail trail. We went into the state park, which we've stayed at a bunch, and spent a day at the ponds, which is really nice. It's right in Brewster. It's called Nickerson State Park. It used to be free up until this year. It was always free to go in and use the ponds, even to park in there and then hop on the rail trail. But they started implementing a 20-day pass or $20 per day pass. So if you want to go use the ponds, you pay $20. Then you can go and use the ponds, which is, well, neither here nor there. But even if you think about it, if you spent a week of vacation there and went in every day and had your kids play in the ponds, it would be $140 for the whole family. So still very reasonable, but that was never the case there before. So we spent some time there with them. We have a bunch of beaches that we like to take the girls to, do some hikes. We're not huge. I'm just not a huge beach person, so a lot of times we'll take some hikes to the water, go in the evening for sunset, sit down, grab a coffee. But we don't spend a ton of days at the beach. But we did with Sean, Kendra, Maeve, and Emma. And the girls, the last day of vacation, we spent a day on the Bayside beach, and then we also spent a day at the beach at the pond, which is really nice. Nice weather at the end of the week. It was a little bit overcast when we got up there, which, to be honest, I was perfectly fine with because I've been getting the shit kicked out of me on this job with the heat, the sun. There's no trees in the back of the house, so the exposure to the sun is terrible. And you just get hammered with the sun all day long. So the past 2 months, I've been dealing with the heat on the back of the house and the house being closed up and no AC in that area, and then working outside, getting hammered by the heat. So the first few days with overcast, I was loving it. I was like, there's no sun. This is amazing. Then we had typical end of summer Cape weather, which was also nice. By the time we were ready to get out of there, it started warming up, and we got home to 95-degree weather on Selby's birthday, which was Monday. So I took her for a dirt bike ride in the morning. She did I think we did 18 miles. It was hot. Neighbors came with us, and then we hung out, and she wanted, so I'm not a huge lobster fan. Rachel likes lobster, and Selby apparently likes lobster. Tilly does not like lobster. So Selby wanted lobsters and her grandparents to come over for her birthday dinner, which was last night. So we bought a bunch of lobster and brought it home to cook, and had everyone over last night for somewhat of a seafood bake. But it turns out that Selby does not like lobster. She left, I cut a tail up for her. I cracked open the claws, cut all the meat. So all she had to do was eat it. And she was like, I like lobster. I just don't like the texture of it. And literally ate none of her lobster. I was like, so you don't like lobster? She's like, no, I like it. I don't like the texture. I was like, you ate none of it and you wanted a lobster dinner and you don't like lobster. So I think she likes the idea of lobster, right? That you see on TV, somebody brings a red lobster dinner and it's on a plate and it looks cool, or you see them out at the restaurants. But I don't think that she really likes lobster. She's eaten it years before, but I don't know. She just wasn't into lobster. I just thought it was funny because that's all she wanted for her birthday dinner, and then she ate everything but lobster. But yeah, that was our vacation. We kind of laid low as far as we don't do a ton of fancy stuff. We have some beaches we go to, some restaurants that we go to, some morning spots that we hit up for coffee and breakfast, and just fly by the seat of our pants. We don't really have any plans every day. We just wake up, pack the bikes in the car, head out with bathing suits, towels, bikes, truck, and end up wherever we end up. Park, ride our bikes to the beach, wherever we may go. Ate a lot of candy, a lot of dessert, feeling it this week. But we got back into town Sunday, and Monday was Selby's birthday and the holiday. And then today was my first day back at work. So I met with Design Manifest, which is the designer on our job in Medford. I met with Jessica over there and Jim from the Hardwood floor sub, and we were picking out stain colors and finishes for the floor. So the flooring's in the kitchen, got that sanded, and doing some stain samples on that. We picked a color selection. So at this point, we have to get the rest of the engineered flooring in that concrete area, and then we can sand the rest of the floor and then start staining and finishing, which would wrap up next week. So I'm gonna jump out with Justin while they're inside doing the floor work. I'm gonna jump out with Justin and get the trim work wrapped up on the outside of the house, so we can then get the stucco people to get their stucco done. And hopefully at that point the hardy will be in stock, so we can get the siding above that done. I have some rails to put up on the outside of the house, so I can get them picked up, install them. All our windows are in, so it's really getting everything waterproofed and flashed in and ready for the end of the job. On the outside, I can get the stucco contractors there, and then the siding guys can install gutters, siding, and then once the rails are in, we'll get the roof coated one last time with the gel coat. All the roof is replaced at this point. All the flashings replaced at this point. Let's see what else. I think that's it for outside. Hopefully, we ran into some more issues. We intended to pull a lot more of the hardy off than we did, but it ended up that they put hardy on top of stucco. So at this point, we're going to limit our exposure and flash that in properly the way that we can, but we're not going to rip off the rest of the house because I don't know what that would open up at this point, and we have to get the customers back into the house. So I think that issue would be a fairly extensive renovation, and we don't have the time right now to address that. So we're going to get our spot good, tidied up, buttoned up, and then if that's something that we address down the road, we'll discuss that. What else? Yeah, so once the floors are done on the inside, we can let them cure, get some protection down, get the cabinets in. I did a trim takeoff today, so I can order all the trim, and I need some red oak for some beams that we have to make. Get all that stuff in, and then it's to the finish stage of things. Get the cabinet set, get our countertops template, get the carpentry done in the bar area, so we can get the mantle slipstone fabricated, and we have some countertops in there. And then it's going to be trim work, paint, tile, a little bit of tile, and then we'll get the floors buffed out and recoated one more time. I do have a little bit more work upstairs, where we had to pull some windows and some trim work upstairs, and there's some water damage that we're going to try and resolve in one way or another. So coming towards the exciting part of things, the stressful, I guess it's all been somewhat stressful, but I'm excited to be moving ahead with this job. I just touched base with the customers today. They're obviously, the holiday's over. They're back in town. Kids are going to be starting school soon, so they'll be living out of the house until then. So I'm going to have to really try and push as much as possible to keep things moving, keep my subs aligned, keep myself and Justin busy on the finish end of things, just keeping ahead of everyone, so we can close this out as quickly as possible for them. Other than that, I think that's it. Doug came down before I went away. We recorded some stuff for some partnerships that we have. I am looking to land a partnership here with a company that I've worked with a ton in the past for this podcast, which will be nice. So I'm excited for that. And it was good to see Doug. He flew in quickly. I guess it was like last Wednesday or Thursday, 2 Wednesdays or Thursdays ago. And we filmed some stuff. Basically, he landed 7:30 in the morning, picked him up, filmed stuff all day long, ate some dinner, and then sent him back out on his way. Actually, I think we ate a really huge lunch, and it was no dinner for him because we ate a massive lunch, and I'm pretty sure he got back on the plane and was like, I do not want to eat anything else. So look forward to that stuff coming out. I did post some of his filming for a Festool creative that we did, me using the saws. But we have some really cool stuff that's going to be coming out soon. I'm very excited about. So keep an eye out for that. Always good to see Doug, true professional. Brought all his gear, filmed a little bit of this, a little bit of that, even had the drone out a couple of times. And I just got done recording voiceover work for what we filmed together. So I'm excited to get that out and for you guys to see that, and everyone that we're working with on that. It's exciting. But I think that that's up for reentry. Getting back from vacation's always tough. It's always stressful. Justin wanted to work today, and I was like, listen, I need a day or two to get back into it, to check on the job site, make sure everything's done. I got to go dump the dumpster and then figure out everything that we need moving forward. I don't have materials staged at this point. So it's tough getting back. I think that it takes me 4 days to settle into vacation. And then by the time I'm settled in and everything's taken care of, it's ready to come home, I'm starting to stress about coming home from vacation. So that's something I've struggled with forever. I don't know if you guys and girls can relate with that. Um, I want to get better at that, about disconnecting and disengaging as soon as I'm away, and relinquishing that feeling in your gut of just being stressed and how are things going to go, and I have this much to do still and I didn't get this done. So I'd like to work on just managing that better from personal perspective. I waste a lot of vacation being stressed about what I didn't get done, and then what's going to get done while I'm gone, and then what I'm going to do about what's going to happen when I get back. So that's been tough. I think that I did a decent job. I really wasn't on my phone too much. I didn't have to work too much. Everyone handled things at home, so thank you. But getting back is tough. All day yesterday, it's Selby's birthday, and I just have this knot in my stomach that it's back to work, back to the grind. Got to get these people in. Stress of jobs, next job, what's happening. I have emails I didn't get to because I was away for a week. I didn't put up an out of office email. So am I losing jobs? Am I losing leads? Have I gotten back to people who want consultations? So it's been really tough getting back to it and remaining calm and not being too stressed out, and still being present for my kids, and having patience with them, because they just went from a week of all of our attention to getting back to the grind of my wife being a mile a minute, and then them getting ready for school and being anxious for that. So there's just a lot going on. It's a tough time of year. It might be easier to plan a vacation a little bit of a different time than like Selby's birthday and then right back to school, but it's just the way that it works out for us. Um, so it is difficult to get back to it, but I'm hoping that once we get back on the job and things start moving and rolling again, that I slide right back into my normal routine, and I feel as though progress is being made and we're moving ahead with everything. So if you guys and girls can relate to that, let me know. If there's anything that you've found helps you deal with the feeling, or quell those anxious feelings and thoughts that you have while you're away or before or coming home, definitely reach out. Let me know. As always, shoot me some emails with ideas for podcasts, ideas for blog posts. I will get to them. I'll put them on my list. Also, I know I mentioned this last time and a handful of people reached out, but I haven't been able to get my Square app to work on my Instagram. So if you are looking to book a consulting hour time slot, an additional one, or your first one, or you have questions that you want to get my attention and speak to me personally, I do offer 1 hour consultation windows, but I haven't been able to get that book now button to link up through my Instagram app, which always worked before. And I've tried multiple different things. And I finally just gave it up and said, I can't do this. And I'm going to basically say, if you want an hour to speak with me, to dig into business, to dig into personal life, to dig into podcast, anything. If you want to pick my brain, if you want to talk to me about systems, how you can improve your business, um, anything that I've learned, struggles, whatever it may be, I do book time during the week to speak with people on the phone. Um, and you can shoot me an email at tyler@trghomeconcepts.com. That's tyler@trghomeconcepts.com. I can discuss my rates with you and how I book them. So essentially, it's just figuring out what days of the week work for you, what times, and then I'll send you an invoice and a calendar invite for that. And then we'll hop on a call tailored specifically to what you need to work on or specifically to what you want to know. So a bunch of people had asked me, I found in my DMs that I hadn't gotten to, if I was still offering those services. Yes, I am. Um, it's based on a limited availability each week, and you have to shoot me an email, and then we'll get you booked that way. So if you're interested, tyler@trghomeconcepts.com. Thank you. Also, shoot me emails. Also, leave reviews. Also, listen to the original Modern Craftsman podcast. I believe we still have pre-sale going on for our shirts as well. So Modern Craftsman, moderncraftsman.co, and you go to shop. Sorry, it took me a second. I had my Wi-Fi off on my other computer. So moderncraftsman.co, hit up shop. There is the original Modern Craftsman Founders t-shirt. It's a limited run. Really nice, super fitted, super sleek shirts, nice and comfy. They're like the tri-blend. We got them made through a really small company, so they're really well done. We felt that really dovetailed well and meshed well with our brand as far as who we're using. So it's not a super inexpensive t-shirt. It's not a throwaway. It's not like a free promotional item. It's a really nice t-shirt that we're hoping you would like to wear or gift to somebody to wear. So if you want to get it on the pre-order, hit up our website, moderncraftsman.co, hit the shop link and you'll find it there. We also have some other items that we're going to be posting on there shortly. So I'll brief you on them when we have them. But as always, thank you for the support. Thanks for sitting tight while I was away last week, and on to your regularly scheduled programming from here on out. Hope you guys had a good end of summer. For those who are in the States, a happy Memorial Day, took some time off, and the kids are getting back in school. And you guys are getting back to it. All right. I'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks.